Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Did My Grandfather Make This? We are here at Kenilworth Castle with my usual presenter Paisley, with our guest presenter Bob, and today we have a special guest presenter, Peck Deck.
Hi.
Behind us you should be able to see Kenilworth Castle. It was made in the Norman invasion, and that's about the 1100s or something like that. So, guys,
Yeah?
do you think my grandfather made this?
I don't know, let's go find out.
Let's go find out. Believe it or not, once upon a time, this was full of water. Well, actually, once upon a time it wasn't full of water, then they made it full of water, and now it's not full of water again. God, it'd be nice to be rich. And the research and camera team doing some research on tree stumps? Dendrochronology? And there's my main camera operator, not behind the camera right now because she's currently nursing a hangover. Aren't you? Guest presenter was doing some research and found himself in what looks like a jail with some ivy on it and an open door. Proper Tudor. Oh no, I don't know what's going on now. He's hiding. So this may have been part of the original castle walls. That's probably Victorian, I would imagine, because it was probably a Tudor thing that the Victorians decided didn't look Tudor enough, so they probably trashed it and then made it into what they thought a Tudor building should look like. And there is our guest presenter running around like an idiot. Right. Would you like chocolate or hot chocolate?
I think hot chocolate will do.
I think we'll go for a hot chocolate then. Okay. Can't figure out how to do that. So, while we've been sitting having our hot chocolate and coffee and not having beer at all, Paisley has been doing some investigating. What have you found, Paisley?
A dead body.
Yes?
Yes.
Would you like to show? Yep.
Yes. There's the body.
Yep.
There's the head because of the creepy eyes. And there's the legs, but I have no idea what those bits are.
Do you not just think they're bits of stone?
It's a dead body.
Do you think my grandfather made this?
No.
Guest presenter was doing some research and found himself in what looks like a jail with some ivy on it and an open door. Proper Tudor. Oh no, I don't know what's going on now. He's hiding. So this may have been part of the original castle walls. That's probably Victorian, I would imagine, because it was probably a Tudor thing that the Victorians decided didn't look Tudor enough, so they probably trashed it and then made it into what they thought a Tudor building should look like. And there is our guest presenter running around like an idiot.
What's that over there?
That's an aviary. Do you know what an aviary is?
No, what's an aviary?
It's got birds in it.
Got birds in it? That big thing has birds in it.
Yeah, do you want to go and have a look?
Yeah, let's go and have a look.
An aviary, because nothing says you want to try and boink a queen like building an aviary in a garden. Elizabeth and Dudley. This castle has been a castle since the Norman invasion, William the Conqueror, and all they can talk about is Elizabeth and Dudley. You can see behind me the slighted castle that was originally made in the 11th century, I believe, the 11th century, something like that. Fortified by King John, used by the de Montfort family. Yes, the de Montforts, Evesham, Lewisham, the Barons' Revolt, the Crusades that I can't pronounce, the Justinian Crusades, where the Pope decided to declare war on French people that were down in the south of France. But no, all they can talk about, all English heritage cares about, Elizabeth and Dudley. The fact that the fact that some guy tried to bonk the Queen is all that's important here. It's stupid. And Paisley, thank you for ruining that. So, one of the things you generally tend to hear around old castles, especially in England and Wales, is, oh, look how in disrepair it is. Well, look at the size of that wall. I wonder what could have happened to that wall that made it, well, not exist. Other than that bit up there. Dragons? What do you think?
I think there was a war, and it threw cannons at the wall, and it went bam, and it fell. Yeah.
That's not bad, actually.
Yeah.
You're actually fairly right there.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So, Bob wanted to explain to everyone what slighting is. If you look behind us, and I channel my inner Lindy Bay, you'll see how thick these walls are. Massively, massively thick. They've stood the test of time. All made from local sandstone as well, red sandstone. But where the walls have been completely destroyed or partially destroyed, gunpowder. Because nothing can stand up to gunpowder. English Civil War slighted the whole place. All the ruins are due to a civil war, which essentially mainly came down to nothing, because the parliamentarians win, Cromwell becomes Lord Protector, and then they get the king back after they killed the king.
Did they have heating?
They've had heating since the Roman times. Underfloor heating and things like that, yes. But in these castles, probably not. Anyway, Paisley! Okay. Good. So, in conclusion, Kenilworth Castle, very, 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 very old. Declan,
That's
do
old
you
right
think?
now.
Yep. Do you think my grandfather made this?
Nah.
Nah.
Nah, man. Nah.
So we've been to Kenilworth. Did my grandfather make it? No, my grandfather didn't make it. This post box there, who's it made by?
Your grandpa.
It's made by my grandfather. So, we went to Kenilworth. It was very interesting. There's a lot of the castle that... It was so cold. There was a lot of the castle we didn't even get to go around. We'll show you. But the main thing about it is when you go there, it's all very much Elizabeth and Dudley. So the end of this, right? Okay, so we're trying to make myself comfy in my nice comfy chair. I'm obviously a proper YouTube historian. I've got fancy stuff behind me in books. That one's a cookbook. That one is a miniature skirmish game using animals. So Kenilworth Castle, it's in Warwickshire, so it's in the middle of the Midlands. It's actually a very, very, very important castle. I will try and sit still, sorry. A couple of key things about it. In 1266, it's endured a 6-month siege, apparently, which is the longest siege ever in the medieval English period. The only other siege longer than that I can think of is the one in Pendennis Castle, where that was besieged for 9 months during the English Civil War, but hey ho. It's said to be where the infamous Henry V tennis ball incident, where the King of France sends him tennis balls and leads to the whole Battle of Agincourt, all that kind of crap. But it's said. We also don't know whether the tennis... I don't know whether the tennis ball incident happened. If anybody does, please feel free to mention in the comments, because I'd quite like to look into that a little bit better. The castle was made in the 1120s as a Norman keep, so we are talking probably Motte and Bailey construction. Not to be confused with a Motte and Bailey, which never existed, but people talk about. But you've got your Motte and your Bailey, and the Motte is the wall, and the Bailey is the keep. Not a moat, because the Normans weren't posh, apparently. The castle then underwent a lot of work by King John the Worst, King John the First, King John in the 13th century, which is really quite ironic because it was Evesham that Simon de Montfort the Senior, because there's a Simon de Montfort the other. Actually, I think it was Simon de Montfort. I think it was Simon Fifth de Montfort or Simon Sixth de Montfort. So you're a bit like, okay, there's quite a lot of Simons. His dad did the crusade against the Cathars, basically Catholics murdering Catholics in France with the Pope's blessing because they wanted stuff in the south of France. Simon de Montfort the Younger then goes on to do the baronial revolt against King John and ends up murdering, killing and just taking as much money from the Jews in London as he possibly can. So nice family, nice bunch of people. But hey, he led to the Magna Carta being law. So yes, fantastic. Ordinary people get no. The problem with Magna Carta is that it was all about the rights of the barons, not the rights of the people. Yes, it wasn't about the rights, it was the rights of the barons against the rights of the king. But this whole, Magna Carta, isn't it great? The people in medieval England get us. No. It's the barons against the king. Which is a start. But your peasant gets
nothing. Anyway, so you've got we talked about the Battle of Evesham. We talked about the Battle of Lewisham. We will be covering those in later videos, so I'm not going to go into too much detail now. In fact, I'm not going to go into any detail at all. Evesham was where Simon de Montfort died, I think. Well, he was defeated. His army was defeated, ending the war. And then the castle goes into royal hands rather than being owned by the family. Eventually gets picked up by Dudley, who basically uses it as a strutting his peacock to try and get Queen Elizabeth I. Yeah, we all know how that ends up. Then the castle gets blown up during the Civil War, and it's reduced to ruins, and now it's owned by English Heritage and looked after. And they do a really good job of looking after it. I'll give them that. I haven't found any proof, but I'm pretty convinced that the Tudor coffee shop is Victorian. And if you ever go there, I would definitely say, have a look at the roof. Roof's amazing. Roof's brilliant. Anyway, this has been did my grandfather make this video? No, he didn't. But it's been a bit of fun. So hopefully, we might actually get some people wanting to watch a third one.